Whoever thought it'd be a good idea to bring the Doomslayer to another dimension where it's some futuristic medieval shit where you have to fight demons and eldritch horror was just a fucking genius, because this was sick as hell. And just from the cover of the game, I could tell off the bat that this was going to be a game I would really enjoy. The game itself takes place before Doom 2016 and also before Doom Eternal, so it tells some of the stories of what he was doing when he was in hell, fighting all those demons for eons. Well, not centuries, but eon. And to give you some perspective, if you Google how long an eon is, it's literally a few billion years. With a B. So there's potentially hundreds and thousands of branching storylines we can explore before the modern Doom games. So if you're looking for the same gameplay as Doom Eternal, you might be a little thrown off because there's some differences, such as not being able to melee as much as you want without using ammo, and the movement isn't as precise as Doom Eternal, meaning you can't really dash or double jump in this game, but at least you can kind of run. As far as I know, all the other Doom games you can't really sprint. In my opinion, he kind of just casually walks around because he's, the motherfucking Doom guy. And this demon hunting business is just a brisk walk for him, so there's no need to rush. But in the Dark Ages, you're booking it to places, which I do like, because I'm trying to get somewhere, and walking just ain't cutting it for me. So if you're coming into this game after playing Doom Eternal, the movement will take some time to get used to, but it won't take long. Another main difference in this game is that you don't have glory kills anymore in the game. Well, technically they're still there, but you don't get that moment to catch your breath. It is all gas but no brakes, which kind of forces me to plan my approaches more strategically instead of just winging it with each encounter. So if you missed the good old glory kills from the previous games, all you gotta do is just kind of jump and then melee when the indicator lights up, and you should be able to perform it sometimes. And I'm not gonna lie, when it comes up every so often, the glory kills just means a lot more because it doesn't show up as much, so when it actually does happen, it's pretty hype. And in terms of gameplay, the game adds some cool new things and some things that I really didn't like. The first thing that I really liked was the advertised chainsaw shield. The shield is very similar to Captain America's shield in the Marvel movies. So you basically just start chucking that shit in enemies, except in this game, it slices demons in half. The shield is really good at taking out the weaker enemies, so you don't have to waste your valuable ammo. And the chainsaw part in the shield allows you to kind of hold the enemy in place, so if there's a pesky bitch that keeps avoiding you, you can just throw the shield at them and start pelting them with bullets. And the best part about this is there's nothing that they can do for it. All they see from their perspective is just you standing there menacingly while you get a sick pleasure from their agony. And the shield bash kind of offers us a good way of starting each encounter, so where you can really close the distance, or it could even offer a chance for you to escape. This was a pretty cool mechanic because I was able to zip around the map and fight demons at every corner of the level. But honestly, I would prefer if we had a dedicated dash button sometimes, because when there's no enemies close by, I just tend to spam that shield button frantically until I find something to latch onto. And most of the times I just end up dying because, knowing my luck, no one's around to save my ass. So I would honestly just prefer if I could just backwards dash away from these enemies when the opportunity presents itself. Because if you're kind of stuck there and you don't have your shield up, he just ends up just beating your ass. And you just got no choice but to take the L and just restart to the nearest checkpoint. But at least with this new shield mechanic comes a new parry system. So it allows you the opportunity to never back down from any enemy that you see. You can just keep on attacking them head on without any restraint. And I think the parry mechanic is fine. It's pretty satisfying when you do pull it off, because later on in the game you get these extra ability that activates when you hit them consecutively, so you don't necessarily need to dash and escape the enemies. You can just be all up in their face and just deal more damage up close and personally. The parry timing is very forgiving in my opinion, but even on the hardest difficulty, I feel like you can pretty much get away with a lot of things in the game. And if you think that parry timing is too forgiving, you can adjust the settings to however you want. So you can reduce the parry timing, or you can even make your damage output lore accurate. This menu is kind of cool in terms of accessibility. You can really fine-tune the game to however you want to play. So if you're those people who want a crushing difficulty, you can modify the game to however you like. Or if you're one of those people like me who just like to cruise the game and just enjoy the story, you can do that. You can adjust the game to accommodate whatever needs that you want. It's all about that customization that I really like. So you don't have to play the same game as everyone. You can just modify it to whatever fits your playstyle. In terms of the main gameplay, if you're not running and gunning, there's two ways the game spices up the monotony of shooting demons. So one way they do it is some levels will have a mech suit where you can pilot, which is basically a big ass robot where you can start throwing some hands to these giant ass demons. And the other way is you get to fly on top of a dragon. And this dragon is hella badass compared to the regular old puny ass dragons you see in the medieval times. Out of these two, my favorites gotta be the mech suits, because I grew up watching shows like Gundam, or that weird Gundam cartoon thingy, or even the Power Rangers. So I was basically reliving some childhood nostalgia every time I drop into a mech suit. And the dragon part was cool at first, but then it kind of got repetitive for me after playing it for a while. It was clunky, but at least it was pretty decent when you're on mouse and keyboard because you're just able to change the direction a lot easier on that mouse and keyboard. But if you're on controller, I can imagine that these missions were basically a pain in the ass for you, just because you don't have that same precision as like a mouse and keyboard. Well, even though I didn't like the dragon levels as much, it still felt cool to me because when you summon your dragon, you basically get the same animation as Bale from that Elden Ring fight. Moving on to the weapons, it's kind of okay. You have your standard shotguns, ARs, and even missile launchers, but I wish that they introduced more unique weapons in this game since the game is about you interacting with Night Sentinels and the Makers, so I was kind of hoping that we would get more wacky weapons. The Pulverizer and the Chain Shot were magnificent additions to the game. I just wanted to see more of that. Because like the Night Sentinels definitely had different technologies compared to the humans on Earth, so it'd be cool to see what kind of crazy contraption that they would invent. The game also adds more melee weapons for you to play with, so instead of fighting these demons with your fists, you can hit them with a flail or a very intimidating spike club. The new weapons basically allow you to customize whatever melee attacks you wanted. For the most part, I just stuck with a flail because I used to main the Conqueror from For Honor, so it makes you feel some type of way. But other than that, I didn't really feel compelled to try the other ones unless the game was introducing the new mechanic to me. And before I start going into spoiler territory, I will say the game tends to crash often, especially at launch. I heard that if you updated the drivers from launch day, you were more prone to like crashes. And so once I heard about that news, I just ignored the prompts that kept telling me to update this game because I didn't want to crash as much as those other people. I'm not gonna lie, it did crash a few times on me, but there was this one time where my computer just shut off while I was playing the game. That was crazy. Like I did not have a blue screen or anything. It just went to black and just shut off. That was like the first time I've ever had the game do that to my computer, but I'm just gonna assume it was just an anomaly and hopefully no one experiences that because that was just straight weird. Alright, enough of that. Spoiler territory, here it comes. Here's your chance to leave now. Alright, too late. Just from the cover alone, I knew that this game was gonna be good. I know I've talked about it a lot in this video already, but it's true. That was like the main selling point for me. The setting and the gameplay was just bonus content for me at this point. Like when you see this picture, it screams epicness in such a very artistic way. Like I really like the artwork that they did in this cover because it makes me feel like some of those Renaissance artists that would have saw the Doomslayer mowing down demons. Like this is the type of painting that they would probably draw. This is the very first game I truly felt like a force of nature against the demons. The demons actively knew how threatening you are to the point that they would rather trap you inside of a prison than kill you because they know at some point you'll just end up respawning, so there's no point of just offing you right then and there. And what's crazy is that's literally what happens in the game. When they heard of the Doomslayer's death, they all perform this ritual and then just summon you back from the dead on some crazy horror shit. But for the demons, you know. Like you can even tell from the very first cutscene that this game was about to go crazy. Like the way they introduced the Doomslayer is that they basically treat you like a tactical nuke from Call of Duty and just sent you to dispatch the demons, messing with them. Like, if you've never played any Doom games in your life, this is like the perfect introduction to show you how threatening the Doomslayer really was to every demon. The art style of this game is really something else. Like, if you have a good metal playlist on Spotify, like, just play that while you play this game. Because this game is like a metalhead's wet dream, with visuals like this, or like this. And the game gets even crazier as you progress through it. Like, throughout this whole journey, you're throwing hands with giant monsters in this mech suit. Then you fly around in this, like, intimidating looking dragon. And you even fight like a Lovecraftian monster. Like, it goes bizarre sometimes. You should have seen my face when I found out that we were unleashing Cthulhu in the game. I was baffled, and I wasn't even sure if we can even beat this deity. I thought the game was going to make a big deal out of it since, you know, this is like a literal god in the game, which is capable of like doing many things that could probably give the Doomslayer a hard time. But instead, he was just basically like an Uber ride for the Demon Slayer, and use his ass to basically chase the main bad guy into another dimension. At some point, Cthulhu ends up eating us, which is fine, I guess. But what's pretty insane is we start taking him down from the inside out. We give him the worst symptoms of GERT ever, and he just dies. Because Doomslayer was in there fucking his ass up. And it only gets crazier from here after I saw that cutscene. Because at some point towards the end of the game, you end up fighting these Cthulhu monsters in that mech suit. And it was a pretty cool sequence. I'm not gonna lie, the last two missions felt really drawn out for me because we already had the main villain on the ropes, basically, at this point. So I just thought after fighting a group of Cthulhu monsters and fighting the main villain at his most powerful version, I thought this was probably a good place to where the game should end naturally. But I get that they wanted his death to be satisfying, and I'll be honest, they pulled that off pretty well. Especially when you hear him cry in agony from the pain you were inflicting because, you know, you felt some type of way when he killed your dragon and shit. There we go, just standing there ominously. Like, this scene was very euphoric after the shit that main villain put us through. And you're probably happy that you're not receiving that pain that he's getting. Overall, I thought the story was fine for me. It just helps supplement the gameplay for me, which is the main reason why I like to play it for the crazy fast-paced gameplay that has you zipping around the map hunting down demons. This story just helped elevate that immersion for me and really put myself into the headspace of the Doomslayer. And if you're slightly interested in the game, definitely pick this game up. Like, it's a fine addition to the Doom franchise, and if you have a pretty kick-ass metal playlist, this game probably needs to be a high priority in your collection right now. I will say that this Doom game is not as strong as like Doom 2016 or even Doom Eternal, but it's another game that'll make you feel like a badass. So I'm pretty satisfied with what I got in this game, despite the massive ass crashes that the game is currently experiencing. If this game was released in a bug-free state, I'm pretty sure we would have a lot more conversation about this game, but as of right now, it's alright. If you guys liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe, and then I'll see you guys on the next one.